everybody. My big fucking mouth is back on the air. Another week goes by and they haven't stopped me yet. They must not be listening. The opening song, I know I've said it before. I think I've said it before. The opening song is on the YouTube Free Music Library. It's a song called Strange Ways by Silent Partner. The name of the group is Silent Partner. The name of the song is Strange Ways. It is a very, very cool song. Jules used to play it on UCY when I was back broadcasting on UCY, and I got hooked on it back then. So it's been out there for a hot minute. But yeah, that's the opening one. I'm actually going to go see if they get any other ones that are cool. I might start switching it up. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let me jump over here and get the Skype call underway. There's David F. Town Bala. I'm getting him added in there. Lance Mussa said he'd be ready to go, but he's not lit green. I'll ring his phone anyway. Paul, I will answer your question. I don't know if you're in the room yet or not, but I will answer your question. I will send you a message. What's up, David?
What's up, Jimmy?
How you doing, brother?
I just came from letting my dog out in the backyard.
Oh, right on. How's every little thing tonight? Hey, Lance, what's going on? You actually answered the phone, man.
Yeah, of course, man. You know, of course.
You weren't lit up green, so I didn't know.
What's up, brother Dave?
Not much, man.
I see Kim lit too, so we'll get her added in here if she wants to add in here. She can hang up if she doesn't, or she can put herself on mute and listen or whatever. We'll see. It doesn't look like she's going to answer. All right. Let's get the fucking shit underway then.
How you feeling this week, Dave? Have any treatments and whatnot?
Feeling all right. Not too bad.
You made it.
I'm tired as fuck.
Me too.
Yeah, I rototilled the whole garden yesterday. And it's not a huge garden. It's like a 50 by 70 or something like that. You know, it's not huge. But I rototilled the whole thing yesterday, and then today I went out there and took a material mover. I don't know if you guys know what that is. If you've ever worked concrete, you know what it is. But I took one of those and raked everything out flat and got a lot of the weeds that were tilled up, you know, pulled all the way out and thrown out in the yard to chew up with the mower. And fuck, I'm tired. Boy, I got a little bit of sun on me. Howdy, Kim. I thought I saw you lit. I didn't know if you wanted to add into the show or not. So.
Well, it had problems saying my microphone was off, so I had to go into settings and turn my microphone on.
Oh, right on. The crickets are wanting to be on the air. They're loud.
They are.
Right on. All right. So anyway.
If it's too loud, just tell me. I can put it on mute.
Or I can turn you down. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm tired. I did a lot of work in the garden. Finally. It's like 2 months late, but you know. Anyway, how are you, Lance?
Pretty damn good.
Are you? How's the housing market hanging?
Yeah. I tell you, it's rolling here. I mean, it truly is. I mean,
right on, brother. I
mean, there's so many purchase contracts going on. The refinances are still going on.
Make those debt notes while you can, brother, because
I'll tell you what,
it ain't gonna last too much longer.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I mean, you know, we expect fully that the rates will get better on mortgages later as we go in the year, as the market crashes. You know, it's got to.
Yeah, that's true.
I cannot believe we're still talking about this. In the Dow is where it is right now. I just can't believe it.
No, it went up, 140 some odd. Oh, hang on a second. I forgot to do something.
Smoke weed every day.
All right, there we go. That's it.
I do.
All right, let me bounce back here really quick and find out what everything wound up at. In the overnight trading, gold's up 40 cents already. Let's see. The Dow finished up 143.95 with a closing of 21,454.61. Unfucking believable. And they're just going to keep pushing it up.
You want to talk about gold and, you know, the value of gold and stuff?
Yeah.
I watch very little TV, other than my Wolf and Anderson. I got you got to stick with them. But
Go ahead.
yeah, right. But every Tuesday night on Discovery Channel, I watch The Deadliest Catch at 9:00, and then there's a show on called Devil's Canyon after that. It's about these 6 people that they dropped off in Vancouver somewhere, and they go up in the Devil's Canyon and they mine for gold. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but these guys are out there, and I mean, they have to kill their own food. They had to hike 20 miles to get out there because it's just untouched. And the gold out there, they are finding gold. But what people put themselves through to go find a little bit of nugget is just phenomenal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just the power that it has over people. These people are crazy. And they're out there, I mean, digging for gold in 20-degree weather and water and bears out there and everything else. Just the power
you get that fever
that it has over people.
Yeah, you get that fever and you can't. I mean, some people say you just can't fight it. You can see, there was the Gold Rush when they had Gold Rush on there. I watched it for a while. And I mean, those cats were going into some serious fucking debt to get the equipment to go out in the middle of nowhere to start digging a fucking hole in the ground. And, I was like, wow, you boys better hope you hit the mother lode. And they didn't. That's what I mean. The whole fucking show. And they didn't. They were making scratch. I don't know. Some people it's worth. I mean, I know. I actually personally know a guy that I met when I was stationed up in Alaska many, 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 many years ago. That's how he made his living. Him and his wife and his kids and shit. He had one dozer and a couple of other pieces of equipment, and he just dug shit out of a river and ran it through his machines and came up with gold and took it into town and sold it, and that's how he made his living. One guy operation. So it could be done. And that was fucking 30 years ago. Damn, I'm old, man. Not quite 30. Anywho. It can be done. You got to really want it, though. It's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, the easy work is in the gold mines, and those have been already, stripped. So this is just
if you've got $10 million worth of machines, it's easy if you got $10 million worth of machines. Those guys that are sucking that shit up off the bottom of the ocean, that's some motherfucking work, yo. Anyhow. All right, David, let's toss it to you, man. The crickets are going to start taking over and putting me to sleep. And I don't know how long I'm going to make it tonight, man. I'm seriously beat.
Goodness.
So, I mean, about halfway through the show, I'm probably going to be sitting down in this big-ass chair behind me, just to let you folks know. Go ahead, David. Headline me.
I don't know where you want to start first here.
Syria.
Smoke weed every day.
How about right there?
Yeah, that'd be a good place.
Right on.
But all right, let's start with Syria first. Let's talk about this false flag that we were going to do. The
chemical attack that never was, never will be, and
never
had been.
Or that's going to happen again.
Well, this is the way I see this. One, Assad's not going to do this, and I'm not a fan of Assad, but he wouldn't do this to himself again. It'd be stupid right now, especially.
He didn't do it the first time. I mean, I got to get my
even
dogs.
then, and I think this was, there's several ways you can look at this. They threw this out, on just a, I don't know if it was a false flag. If we were going to stage something, why would we tip our hat? You know what I mean? Well, why would we tell them, hey, don't do this chemical attack, and then we do it? That wouldn't make no sense either,
Because the Illuminati have to broadcast their intentions, or else they won't work.
That's just, that's it. That, or I really believe.
No, they'll still work. They'll still work. They just made a pact with each other that they'd let us know what they were going to do in advance.
And then also this, Trump is trying to show some strength here, and it's funny because this Department of Defense and all of them said they didn't even know about this before Trump threw it out there. The only one that knew about it was him and Nikki Haley from the UN, and so he didn't even go through his Defense Department. They had no idea that this message was coming, they said.
Bullshit.
I think it got thrown out just thrown out there so Trump could come out and say, like I said, this announcement came out Monday night that we warned them not to do a possible chemical attack. And then all of a sudden it comes out today, Nikki Haley saying, well, nothing happened because we just backed Assad down. He didn't do nothing because of Trump's strong statement.
Because of Trump's hair. He was scared of Trump's hair.
So they're trying to make it look like it's a victory for Trump that Assad didn't do it. I'm like, Assad wasn't going to do it in the beginning. That's why, both him, Iran, Russia all asked for evidence when this was announced the other night, and we wouldn't provide it to them. Hell, they wouldn't even provide evidence to us American people that, of satellite images of this airport where they said the jets are fueling up. There was no evidence thrown out there whatsoever. It was the sloppiest thing I've ever seen in my life from our government.
There was evidence.
Trump's claiming victory on it because now they're playing it off where, Assad didn't respond because of Trump showing strength. He saved hundreds of thousands of Syrian lives over there just now because of his strength. I understand Obama was a pussy. I get that. But the deal is,
he took it in the ass.
Trump's trying to look like he's the president that's got a pair now. He's trying to be the opposite of Obama and trying to show that he's a strong, tough guy like Putin or somebody.
He's 70 fucking years old, man. The guy can't get out of bed without taking an intravenous vitamin C. Come on, man. This whole thing is just, I'm seeing through all of it now. I'm seeing through all of it.
This was the weakest false flag I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was either...
the only evidence they had of the first false flag was that the rebels did it. There was no evidence at all that Assad did a damn thing on the first round. There was all kinds of evidence that the rebels were the ones that were gassing people. So it's tired old story, man. Tired. Go ahead.
Well, Trump was trying to throw us out there to portray strength, right. And knowing that nothing was going to happen. Right. Makes him look like an asshole. I think it's like just trying to walk around like the tough guy on the playground.
Yeah.
I think they're just tired of playing their roles. I don't think they care anymore, and that's why it looks sloppy, because it is sloppy.
True that. They've already stolen every goddamn dime they can get from the fucking public. You know what I mean? So what else they got left?
Roles. They're just done.
Right. Yeah, exactly. YouTube story said it perfect in the room. I'm thankful that we see the hoax. Absolutely, man. I can't believe that I didn't see through all this bullshit back in the day. I'm astonished that it took me 40 years to wake fully. And I didn't even wake fully because last year Lance turned me on to the flat earth. I wasn't even fucking fully awake until last year. Thank you, Lance. I love you, brother. So there you go.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
You know how you were just saying you can't believe how sloppy it is?
Yeah.
It was. Well, I can't believe, I can now, but looking back on 9/11, that was really sloppy too. We just weren't mature enough to see what we were seeing.
Well, that too, and I could see it another way. I see this, what just happened, so many ways now. I've never seen nothing like this that our government's done. There's a bunch of different meanings to why Trump announced this the other night, and why he had Spicer come out at 7:30 at night and announce this, telling Assad directly, we see what you're getting ready to do. Don't do it. And if you do it, we're going to respond forcefully.
You said do. I'm sorry.
But that, Spicer came out and said that, if this false flag could have set off a war with Russia in 2 seconds, and Iran. But Russia's a piss now. Russia's like, telling us now, if America, if you do respond to anything over here anymore, we're not going to be nice to you. But they came out and said that today. Russia did.
They're sick of it.
They're sick of it too. And I knew that they probably knew that they know not to trust the West. Unfortunately, it's we're getting sloppy with everything. It's one day we're going to get into a war with Russia and China over sloppiness like that just happened.
Everybody in the room, hang on.
They
So
know
let me
we're
answer something in the
broke.
room. Peter Stiffens wants to know where Vaughn's at. I have no clue. I haven't seen Vaughn in about 3 weeks. I haven't heard from Vaughn in about 3 weeks. I haven't seen his Skype on in about 3 weeks, and he's usually on every day. So I have no clue. If anybody else knows him better than I do, because I don't really know him that well. I mean, we just started chatting when he started coming on the show. So
Jimmy, we could look on YouTube. He has like a YouTube channel.
yeah, I know that. That's where I first saw him at.
I mean, if he went on that in the last few days, we would know he was fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything posted by him, so I don't know. I don't know where Vaughn's at. I just sent him a message in Skype, and it says it's forwarded to give him a notification or whatever, so hopefully he'll get it and jump on. If anybody else knows him better than I do, tell him Gizbud on the radio. All right, go ahead. David,
So anyway,
that means you.
You know, another part that's going on bad in Syria right now is that Turkey is sending a massive invasion force into right now to this one town called Afrin over on the northern Syrian Turkish border.
Yeah.
It's basically where our SDF rebels are that we're training Syrian Democratic Forces, and we've got a shitload of, just came out story tonight, a shitload of special forces that just moved in by the Turkish border
Shipload.
to protect these rebels. And so we're fixing to have Turkey's pissed because we took the Kurds over them into the battle in Raqqa.
Yeah.
And Erdogan, you know, kept saying before we even did this, you know, you don't want to take the Kurds over us. You know, Kurds are their mortal enemy. But we did. And we told Turkey, we're not taking you into Raqqa. You can do whatever you're doing where you're at, and we're going to. And they said, no, this ain't going to happen. So now Turkey's sending in an invasion force. I mean, they've had troops there for a while now in Turkey, over in northern Syria, a little bit more fighting, but that was just a small group. Now they're sending in just a full onslaught.
You know,
And they're going to be fighting against us over there. They're going to be fighting against the SDF. They're going to be fighting against the YPG, maybe even
because
parts
that's
of the
part of the game.
What's that?
That's part of the game. Yeah, they're supposed to be protecting against an invasion.
Yeah, and you know, we're supporting all the Kurds they hate, and we're arming them to the teeth. Now we have been for the past couple months.
The only time I like to hear about Turkey is when it's around November 20th, you know, and everybody's talking about what the hell they're going to eat for Thanksgiving. Other than that, I really don't like hearing that word. Because I know when I hear it and it's not around Thanksgiving, it means that there's some asshole over there that's fucking around with another country. But anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, you know, we're going to be fighting, the way it's staging now, is we're going to be fighting Turkey and over in the northern part of Syria.
Yep.
And we're going, you know, it's going to be through mainly proxy, but we've got artillery over there. We've got everything to protect these Kurds. We hand trained them, and I have nothing against the Kurds. That's one of the smartest moves we've ever done is backing the Kurds. You know, the Kurds have been great to our soldiers since the invasion of Iraq. You know, they've been one of the nicer places. And so it's good we're supporting the Kurds. If we're going to support anybody, which I don't believe we should, but I'm saying if we are, we might as well it better be the Kurds. You know, those women are some hardcore fighters over there. Those women Kurdish fighters, holy shit. There's that one that took a headshot almost yesterday on video and went right above her head. And she turned around and just smiled at the camera after that.
I saw that. Well, she knew as well as everybody else that watches that knows anything about combat. If it had hit her, she never would have known it anyway. So
no, that would have hit her right in the head. I mean, it was just right above her, man. Yeah. Right when she was getting ready to shoot, you just plink off the wall behind her.
Yep. The wind caught the bullet. Otherwise, he probably would have had her.
She just kind of stuck her tongue out and smiled. And I guess you would be smiling. You're like, damn, I'd be dead a second ago, you know. But they're tough fighters. Those women fighters for the Kurds, man, are badass.
They're fighting for a country, man. You know what I mean? They've got heart.
They're killing ISIS fighters. You know, they were some of the ones on the first, on the front lines to fight ISIS was the Kurds.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're out there, they're thinking about their moms and their sisters.
I will say this: the Kurds, and a lot of those Afghani troops, even the Taliban and other groups over in Afghanistan, those are some hardcore fighters, man. Those people can fight in some conditions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, some of the original fighters in this world are the Kurdish, the Afghanis, the Pakistanis. Those are groups that we don't like fighting against. You know, and the Kurds will take them all on.
Yep.
But you know, so you got Turkey that's sending in a massive force. We've gave tanks, everything to the Kurds right now for them to go against them. And then we told the Kurds, we're right here, dude, and we're pouring in special forces over toward the Kurdish areas right now, setting up bases. And so it's going to come down to our proxy against it. Turkey's running the Free Syrian Army now. We don't run them anymore. Turkey's been running them for a long time, and we've started the SDF. So it's going to be Turkey and the FSA versus the SDF in America.
Kurds and way, dog, Peters. Kurds and way, dog.
But, you know, Turkey don't want a Kurdish state on its border down there, and it never has for many, many decades, you know, even longer. And so they'll go against us just to keep the Kurds off the border.
Yep.
They do not want a Kurdish state on the southern part of Turkey. They just don't want it. And Erdogan
okay, let me ask you this, though. Okay. So with the Russia no-fly deal for American or any coalition aircraft, how do they expect to actually fight this? Are they going to just do it from the ground? I mean, completely from the ground?
We've got I can't remember which carrier it is. We've got over there over in the Mediterranean.
They can't fly over the over Syria. Period.
I know it, but what's funny is our military came out last night and put that carrier on special duty to protect the SDF. It was an official statement, and so we're gonna attempt it.
This is bad, dude.
And the deal is the reason why Erdogan was allowed to send his forces into Turkey like this is that Assad and Putin and Iran gave him permission. Mm-hmm. And we know that. And I think that this is payback for us shooting down that Syrian jet the other day. That Putin gave the green light to Turkey to move their forces completely in northern Syria. And we know this. Basically, Turkey turned against us. We turned against Turkey, however you want to look at it, but Turkey sided up with Russia and Iran and Assad. Turkey flipped, and then you know they're talking. They
always do, dude. They go wherever the money is, or wherever they're going to be safest, or whoever's got the biggest penis, or you know that's all they care about. That you know.
Well, what's funny is
we've
got our big base over in Turkey right now that we're going to be.
We got one in Qatar too. We didn't give a shit about that.
Yeah, and then this is where I don't get. You know, it was just like when Trump mouthed it off to Qatar and told them to stick it up their ass that they were terrorists. And when we were back in Saudi the other day, he seemed to have forgot that we got a base there with 10,000 troops.
Right.
You know, sitting right in the middle of Qatar.
Oh, my goodness. Sorry.
Mute that shit, man. Mute those dogs. Mute. Hit the button. I'm just kidding. Well, unmute if you got something to say, Kim. There we go. Go ahead, David.
You know, so that's what when Trump did that. You know, here we've got our biggest base in the Middle East in Qatar, but yet he's calling Qatar out, and now all of a sudden, you know,
calling him out
going
for
on
what?
Going on with Turkey now, and and basically we're going to be going against Turkey and the Free Syrian Army, and here we got one of our biggest air bases sitting in Turkey right now.
Calling him out for what? Shit we do? Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
There was a ship that was over there just like yesterday. I was listening to something today while I was at work, and they said that they just overnight moved it back over to Hawaii, and they were talking about how much money it had cost and why did they even have that ship up there in the first place. I don't know. I wish I knew the name of the ship. It would be helpful, wouldn't it?
The ship going back to Hawaii sounds like something that would be coming back from Korea.
Yeah, that was the Vince.
That was the Carl Vincent.
Oh,
yeah.
I was just reading about
something
down on boat.co.
We're on the other side of the plane, but that's okay. We're talking about Syria.
Yeah, no, I knew that. I was just wondering if that ship was over there. So I'm in a whole different area for the ship.
Yeah, it was over off of Korea. Anyway, go ahead, David.
You know, so anyway, you know, you're going to have a big battle shaping up here. You know, you basically us announcing we're going to do a false flag here anytime in Syria. you basically, you got us sitting over there fixing to face off with Turkey in the north. And this is going to be major battle coming. Major battle. And the deal is this, is we knew that that as soon as ISIS was going to be kicked out of Syria and Iraq, which they just about are, according to, if you believe the news and you watch reports, they've pretty much got Mosul retaken now, like 90% of it right now in Iraq, and that was their capital, and they'll be gone out of there. And we're moving through Raqqa, I guess they said, a lot faster than what we thought, and we'll have it taken out here within a matter of a couple weeks to a month. And so that means that ISIS they're no longer officially around, even though they're still there sporadically. They're no longer there. They don't have their headquarters anymore in Iraq or Syria. So that we always knew as soon as that happened, we were going to turn our sights on Assad.
Yep.
We were. That's part of the script. Is after Raqqa is taken back, we're going after Assad now because there's nothing left to fight for over here. Because Aleppo got taken back by Assad a while ago. And now Raqqa is going to be done, and
going to get Damascus.
So we're going to turn our sights on Assad next.
Yep.
I mean, it's inevitable, and that's why we called out this false flag the other day.
Yep.
Maybe we're just don't give a shit what he thinks. We're just basically, maybe we're throwing it in his face. Hey, dude, guess what we're fixing to do to you?
Yeah, Nikki Haley's running her mouth.
Yeah.
So she's saying the same shit that Hillary Clinton said when she had any kind of office up there. So Assad has no business being in the post, whatever. He's an elected official. He's an elected official. He won the vote.
They're in such a hurry, the elite, to do this. Is they really have no one to put in Assad's position, but they're running behind time right now. They're behind time on schedule to do this, and so they're fixing to throw caution to the wind like they did in Libya, where they rushed through that without having someone to stick over there. In Libya's in just absolute chaos right now too. That's still waiting to be dealt with.
Yep.
Part one was getting the big bad leader out of there, Gaddafi, and then part two is trying to get that country back under control, which we haven't got to yet, because they were in a hurry, and they're fixing to do the same thing with Syria now. They're behind schedule. They're ready to overthrow Assad, even though they don't have known if they're willing to throw caution to the wind now. And that's where Putin and Putin even, kind of hinted around, even with Obama saying, we're not stuck to Assad itself. We're stuck to other things over here, like our naval base, and if you slow down, maybe we can help get Assad out of here without anybody getting hurt. And
he was over in Russia yesterday flying a fucking jet. He ain't got no trouble getting in and out of that country. He don't have no
willing to work with us even to maybe talk about getting him out of power without going to a war. And we told Putin to pack sand.
Well, the last I heard, I didn't hear that one. The last I heard of Putin saying anything to the United States about Assad was that they needed to butt the fuck out. So, I don't know, man.
Putin was willing to talk, but he wanted to go down the road of elections. He's like, let's let him stay in power until like 2021, I think. Or this was before the last election, or I don't know, but they said, let's let him stay until the next election, and then we'll let the people vote who they want. And we wouldn't go along with that.
The people voted for him.
Yeah, we wouldn't go along with that. We said, no.
That's why we wouldn't go along with it, because he'd probably get reelected.
Yeah, we knew he would get reelected, which he did.
Yep.
And so that's why we didn't want to go along with that, and we're pissed off about it. Because we're like, we just want him gone. We don't care. We're not going to wait till an election.
So it remains to be seen. We still got 2 more days in this week to start some shit. So Peter in the room wants to know about the Philippines. Well, okay, go ahead. But don't. I mean, make sure you jump on the Philippines next. Peter in the room wants to know about that. So.
Okay, but still in Syria. So I think you got a massive war. I think, like I said, the end game is for us to get Assad out of power now that ISIS is pretty much gone.
Right.
We've got to keep the wars going over in Iraq and Afghanistan. We've got to get this one going in Syria now. And they, like I said, they're going to overthrow Assad. They're not going to have no one to stick into its place. And it's going to come down to a war between us and Russia and Turkey over there.
Mm-hmm.
And Iran and Syria.
And guess who's
and
going to lose?
and Jordan and Qatar and Saudi Arabia. It's going to suck in everybody.
Iran's going to take Saudi Arabia out because I think they're tired of their bullshit.
You know, you got Israel right now that just did another shot into Syria today because one mortar came over the Golan Heights and struck the ground. Didn't do any damage or nothing, but then they went over there and they blew up. They've killed, they've wounded at least 5 of Assad's soldiers in the past week. They've killed a couple of them. They took out a bunch of his tanks over in the Golan. You know, Israel is openly supporting al-Nusra Front on the Golan Heights over there. This is Israel's group. You know, this is what's funny. We're sponsoring the SDF over in Syria. Israel is sponsoring al-Nusra Front over on the Golan Heights, which is a branch of Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
And they're openly sponsoring them. And so this Al-Qaeda group is trying to make a push toward Damascus from the Golan Heights. And they're starting to push. You know, there's artillery going back and forth, and so every time an artillery shell hits Israel, they blow it up with tank fire.
Mark Aaron in the room.
Try targeting it with a jet.
Mark Aaron in the room says the friendship pipeline has something to do with this as well, maybe all of it. You know, and that's exactly what I mean. It's follow the money, man. Follow the money. Yep. Assad wouldn't let the pipeline go through that where they wanted to go through, and he was making deals with Russia, and then all of a sudden he needed to be ousted. So, and David Howard says, "Who's we? We should not be in there." That's true. We don't have any right to be in Syria at all. We don't have any legal authority to be in there, except for a law that we wrote in the NDAA. And he also says they're just propping up the dollar. The dollar actually is at a 7-month low right now, I think, as of today. But anyway, that's digressing into another. Go ahead, David.
All right, so like I said, you got Israel that's going to get more involved in this now. They've already struck Syria like 4 times in like 5 days or something like that because of this artillery fire coming over. And Israel says, we're not going, this is what Israel is saying. They're saying we're not going to enter the war, but we're going to respond forcefully to every mortar shell or whatever hits our territory.
They've been flying strikes and shit, and man, fuck.
Yeah.
And
you know, this is.
They just busted a couple of tanks yesterday or the day before, didn't they? Didn't they just bust a couple of? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, they blew up a couple tanks. They've blown up a bunch of other equipment over there. They've killed a couple soldiers. They've wounded at least 5 that I've heard of. They do it. Israel does a direct strike. They find out where the fire came from and they target that site,
just like they do in Gaza. But they don't.
You know, so this is Israel saying we're not in this war. We're just responding to attacks on our territory.
Whatever.
Yeah, you know, this is their group. What's happening? And Putin's came out and said it, and Iran and Assad said you're sponsoring terror over there. You're basically the Air Force for Al Qaeda over there, which they are.
Yep.
That's who Israel is sponsoring over in Syria, and so
ISIS, the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. ISIS. You
know, this is going to get shitty over there. You know, everybody's got their pieces over there. Everybody's got something going over there in Syria. You know, Saudi's, is over there sponsoring groups with us too. You've got, Iran and Israel are going to go head to head. Iran's going to have to make a decision because I think Israel and Saudi is going to do a double attack on Iran.
Probably.
I do.
Hey, something I heard this morning. I was watching.
What's
CBS.
Up, Lance? Did you put the bong down, man?
Yeah, for a minute.
Okay.
But I was watching CBS this morning, and they were interviewing the former ambassador to the UN. I can't remember what his title was. But the Charlie Rose and all those Norah O'Donnell, they were feeding questions to him, so it more propaganda.
Right.
And she said, the topic got on Russia and Syria and how Russia's, our biggest threat over there and everything else. And he said, well, not really. He goes, Iran is our biggest threat over there. Iran's got the most people in there. We have the most, threat really against Iran. And they were like, yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Back to Russia. I'm dead serious.
Right.
It was like, yeah, but what about Russia?
Yeah.
Propaganda every day.
The
All over
Project
TV.
Veritas, the video that he came out with, and the video that he dropped today of I can't remember what that black dude's name was, but he got his ass handed to him off the administration and stuff. I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, yeah, Project Veritas. If you guys haven't seen the videos that he's dropping about CNN and fake news and blah blah blah, you need to go check it out because it
was pretty good.
it's
saw
really
it.
good. He's this one guy and his little minions that he's got running around, playing secret reporter, are going to hand CNN their ass.
Can't wait.
It's going to be epic when it happens too. I can't wait to see it either.
They should go
It's
around
like
doing
they're all
it.
going to cover it though.
Well, they should go around doing this to all the different media,
He
not
is.
just
He's
CNN.
going after.
All of them.
Yeah, he's
Fake
going after the
news.
mainstream. He's going after radio stations, newspapers, Fox, CNN, MSNBC. He's going after them all. He said, "I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm not going to pull any punches with anybody."
Fox is gospel, though. I don't know what they got.
If
against
you're a
Fox.
conservative, if you're a right wing lunatic, yeah,
It's amazing how our news agencies either went left or right. I used to like Fox until they started going so far right, and I'm like,
There
can't
is
deal with
nobody down the middle right now.
No, there's
who can you
nobody.
think? Nobody.
nope.
nobody. CNN's too left.
So's
it's like
MSNBC.
you've got
So's
Fox
ABC.
News represents the Republican Party. CNN represents the Democratic Party.
Well, yeah, but ABC, NBC, and CBS, and they're all left wing too.
Oh
They
yeah,
were all in Hillary's pocket.
MSNBC, came out years ago and said, okay, we know we're far left. Fox came out and said, we know we're far right. CNN said, we're fair, balanced. That's not their motto, but we're straight down the middle. They still say it today that they're straight down the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
After three of their producers had to resign over a fake story that they retracted, and now they have delegitimized the links. The only way you can find it's through Wayback Machine, and I think they're trying to get that squashed too. So anyway, I had a hangy snot. Did you hear it? Kind of whistling. Sorry. Go ahead, David. We don't need to talk about my snot. Thought my nose was bleeding, but it's not.
Ew.
But anyway, this story came out, talking about Syria. I said there's a lot going on in Syria. This came out from Lavrov today, the foreign minister of Russia. He said Russia to respond in proportion to U.S. strike on Syria. It says Russia has said it will react in proportion to any U.S. military actions against Syria on the pretense of preventing a chemical attack. It says we will react with dignity in proportion to the real situation that may take place, said Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov today during a press conference. Lavrov added that he hoped the U.S. would not use its intelligence assessments concerning the Syrian government's alleged intentions to further provoke the country. He said, I expect that our partners in the region, American, European, will also have an open and comprehensible approach aimed at de-escalation through normalization of the humanitarian situation, he added.
God,
And so
there's
that's
some
what-
long-winded motherfuckers, aren't they?
Yep,
Sorry.
and that's what Lavrov said today. He said, basically, we'll react, depending on how big you strike.
I mean, I like Lavrov. I think he's a pretty prudent guy. He's really, kind of straight off, off the cuff. He don't pull any punches. But damn, them politicians are some long-winded motherfuckers.
Well, they
Say
gotta throw
what
all
you
their
mean,
big-
mean what you say, get to the point, and then shut the fuck up.
You got to throw in all their big words and everything else, and
Yeah. I know big long words. That's why I wear this $5,000 suit.
it's like just either come out and say, if you do anything, America, we're going to go to war. If not, cool, we won't do nothing then.
Yeah, de-escalation, right? And we're going to de-escalate this on a red phone from office to office. They're supposed to Trump and at the G20, Trump and Putin are supposed to actually rub elbows and shit. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be on camera. What do you want to bet?
probably not.
All right. Next story.
What else here?
I don't see Putin letting Trump come up and elbow him out of the way so he can be first.
No. That was the biggest egotistical.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, that really was. That was just the.
I was embarrassed.
God, he looked like a fat kid at the party trying to get to the front of the food line.
God.
He did. Very disrespectful.
Oh, God, you
It
have
was.
a way of words, Jim.
Very disrespectful.
All right, go ahead, David.
What else here? I think that's pretty much it with Syria.
Okay, jump on the Philippines now. I'm not literally, but you know what I mean. I don't know though. The weather might be nice down there compared to what you got.
You know, the Philippines, they said that those guys are island hopping over there and taking over these islands.
What's up, Angus?
And over in southern Philippines. And, you know, these groups that are there in the Philippines have always been there. It's just when ISIS came out that they changed their name, or they kept their name but swore their allegiance to ISIS.
I swear my allegiance to ISIS.
Bunch of retards.
No
No,
shit, man.
Bunch of, you know, Muslim fighters that say they're part of ISIS now, and basically ISIS is going to start flaring up in the Philippines, and that's what they're afraid of. Now that they're getting routed out of the Middle East, they're going to start showing up big time in other spots around the world now, which could be. And, you know, they'll probably show up in the Philippines. You know, they'll probably show up in a few other places now. Over more in Africa, you'll see a lot more rebels run over there now.
Mm-hmm.
Libya's going to flare
No, they're
up
not going to
like
run
we've never
anywhere.
seen.
Our Air Force will move them, or we'll buy them all plane tickets or something. They're not going to run anywhere.
Well, they're going to show up in Libya in bigger numbers now, and Libya is going to flare up here in the near future really bad.
They're spreading them 50,000 people out awful thin, boy. I'm telling you, because that's all the Pentagon ever says that there is. 50,000 fighters, 50,000 fighters. We kill thousands of them. I think we've killed like 180,000 of them if you count up the totals of all the reports that they've put out.
Oh, yeah, and their leader Baghdadi's died at least 20 times.
Yeah, 5 that I know
I was
of.
going to say the reports they put out,
Right.
big liars.
There was an actual story on RT about that too. You know, if the U.S. had killed the ISIS leader, what would the people think? So, because supposedly the Russians did kill him, or one of them.
Yeah, that was the last report that came out last week, is that Russia killed Baghdadi.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they find his Rolex in the rubble.
Everybody's claimed to have killed this guy at least 100 times.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not going to believe it. You know, proof of life, or you know,
I don't trust anything after Bin Laden, you know, saying he got thrown off an
Yeah.
aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
That's the most ridiculous story I've ever heard, man.
According to
Ridiculous.
Muslim tradition, they said they added that along
And then
with
all
it.
those guys died afterwards.
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely. Because
All the
there's
seals
nothing
died.
in the Quran about burial at sea. It's just not. It doesn't happen.
Nothing. The whole thing
No.
is a lie.
You know, and you see now these people, when that was announced with Bin Laden, now everybody that was over in D.C. ran in front of the White House chanting USA and everything else, man.
Well, and then all those guys died on that old Vietnam Chinook helicopter that were involved with the supposed Bin Laden catch.
There's been like 3 separate helicopter crashes where those guys have all got killed in.
Taking them out.
Yeah, how convenient.
One guy died in a parachuting accident during some kind of parade thing or what? Yeah, it's bullshit, man.
Yeah, they need their own dead list just for that debacle that was a total lie.
You couldn't make a dead list off of the CIA or the Pentagon or whatever. They'd be too goddamn long, man.
I'm
You
saying
couldn't
just
do
for
it.
that particular problem.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Bin
There's
Laden
people. There's
lie.
all kinds of YouTube videos about those cats and the whole Bin Laden raid and how bogus it was from the word go.
Yeah, and the
So-
parents are very angry, and some of them are really scared,
Hmm.
as they should be.
All right, David, carry on.
So where was I here?
We were talking about the Philippines.
Oh, we're talking about
Or-
the Philippines. You know, that's
boys
pretty
down there,
much as
island
far
hopping.
as I know about the Philippines, man. You know, that they pretty much got that one island under somewhat control. It's been under martial law for a couple weeks now, and most of the villagers they've gotten out. Or at least they say they have. But it's
Are they going to go after the dude that called Trump a dickhead?
No, Duarte,
Yeah,
the president of the Philippines.
Duterte. Yeah.
They should. That guy's an asshole, man.
Hey man, he ain't pulling any punches either. I mean, he might be
No,
an
he's
asshole because
not.
he doesn't
He's
like
not.
us, but he's going after the drug kingpins down there and fucking laying waste to them, man. The murder rate in the Philippines is off the fucking charts. It's worse than Chicago, and that's bad.
Yeah, he's cleaning house for sure. At least trying to.
So yeah,
He's got some hard way stands. Like he made that one statement where if any of his troops got caught raping women during martial law over there, he'd take up for his troops.
Well, yeah, shit happens, man. But I got to tell you,
understand that.
when it comes
But
to
you
his
can't
opinion
control-
about us, I would be the same way, dude. If I was the president of a country and the United States had been in there fucking around for 50 years, I'd want him to fuck out too. So I see where he's coming from. Now, he might still be an asshole.
Raping women,
Right. That's what I'm saying. He might still be an asshole, but I can see his point on a few things. Anyway.
But he's cussed at us too. He's called, at the beginning, he called Trump a pussy. He called Obama a pussy.
Yeah. And a son of a bitch.
And the son of a bitch. He says he's going to burn the UN to the ground.
He should.
He knows they're all fake. He knows they're all fake. He's calling them out. He's going to be dead.
He's seeing through the bullshit. He's seeing through the bullshit.
He's calling every one of them out. He knows they're puppets. He knows if he's against the UN too, he's calling everybody out. He's got a
Fucking
death
man.
wish.
No, well, I don't know if he's got a death wish or not, but he's just tired of the shit.
I know. I have a lot of respect for someone that does something like that. I mean,
That's
he
what I'd
did
tell
it
him too. I'd say,
globally.
get the fuck out of my country. We're tired of you over here stealing our fucking oil, trying to tell us how to live, bringing all your goddamn rock music and shit in here, pool tables.
He
and
looked all
what-
angry too. He was totally pissed when he said it. You could tell.
Hell yeah.
He wasn't just faking that.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't pulling any. He wasn't fading. Anyway, go ahead, David. I'm going to be sitting down here directly. I can tell you that right now. My back's killing me. Go ahead.
Well, that's pretty much all I know about the Philippines, man. And we've sent special forces there to fight alongside the Filipino army. Duarte asked us if we wanted to come over, and of course we said, sure, why not? It's a party, isn't it?
Yeah. Is
No,
that you,
we'll go
Lance?
anywhere to fight.
Somebody's dinging. It must be Kim.
No, it is not.
That's my wife texting me from work.
Oh, right on. Tell her we said hey. Everybody in the room. Everybody in the room said hey. Hey, I don't know about all you people in the room, but 9 of you need to go over there and smash that thumb. One or the other. Either the up thumb or the down thumb, whichever. But, damn. 9 of you are slacking. All right. Anyway, got that out of the way. And we're almost halfway
that's
through the show.
that's going to flare up over there in the Philippines, and it's going to flare up in Libya. And that's two spots I see definitely coming, especially Libya. I think by this winter, man, you're going to start hearing more about shit over there again because it's been unsettled ever since Gaddafi got taken out.
I don't know if we'll be hearing much of anything come wintertime around here, except what's going on in this country. Because this country's fucking coming apart. Now, they might not be talking about it on CNN or ABC or NBC or Fox, but this country is coming apart. And we'll get into that in the second hour.
Yeah, I got stuff on that too I want to talk about.
Right on. Finish up with all
Are you
your
guys talking about the
overseas
pedo stuff?
No.
Oh.
Well, I'm not. I don't know what he's got, but no, my stuff is all about closures and layoffs and.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, go ahead,
True.
David. Finish up. Dog.
Where else? North
Whose
Korea.
dog? Was that my dog? Or was that?
Wasn't mine.
Well, you can't blame it on Kim's dog. Sammy's downstairs.
All right. Must have been Lance.
I'm sure.
Nope, wasn't mine.
Somebody's dog yiped. I heard it. Wasn't mine.
Well,
I
my
heard
dog's
it,
not.
too.
Mine's isn't down here with me.
Oh my god, it's a ghost dog.
Wow.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah, my dog's upstairs.
Go ahead, man.
All right, North Korea.
Whoopee! Kim Jong Un.
Really isn't much going on there, man. It's,
Well,
basically, it was told today that Trump, as soon as he took office, got a proposal from North Korea for direct talks, and Trump turned it down.
electric lift
He
chair.
said that China had to be involved. Well, North Korea's come out again tonight and said, "Listen, America, you lose China, we'll sit down and we'll talk with you." And so we're not going to do that. Trump's not going to tell China to stay out of it. Of course, that's been his big hand, is to try to get China to put pressure on them. You know, China announced they're cutting them off of gas there in the next couple days.
Yeah.
China's actually taking some hard moves. You know, they've cut down their coal, the coal imports to them, and they or exports, and they're cutting the gas off, oil. You know, China's doing a little bit more than what I actually thought they would. And North Korea's pissed.
They said that the last time, and then started unloading coal ships from them about 2 days later. So I just listen and read the headlines, and then I watch what actually happens. There's actually,
like I said, it was announced today. In the next couple of days, they're cutting them off of fuel.
yeah, there's websites that you can go and watch the shipping traffic and stuff. You know, they don't censor any of that crap, and
I don't think China's going to try
we'll
too
see.
hard to do anything. And
No.
Trump put that ominous tweet out last week saying,
you
know, I
tried
know
your
you
best,
tried-
guys. Give it a good shot. Give it the old
Yeah,
college
and then
try.
it come out after that where Tillerson, our Secretary of State, says, "No, we're still trying to talk with China on this. We haven't given up on China." You know, that's the deal with Trump's whole cabinet, is they all got a different story, and it's only getting worse,
Stretch
man.
it
They're using lies to cover up lies now. They're sloppy, man. And I know all cabinets for all presidents go through bullshit. I get this. I'm not nailing Trump on this, but there is total sloppiness in his whole cabinet.
Yeah,
They're a bunch of amateurs.
the whole team. It seems like the whole team is now. You know.
Yeah, they're a bunch of fucking amateurs.
I'm talking about the elite team. Even
Yeah, them too. They
the
don't care.
banksters and stuff. They're getting super sloppy, or they just don't give a shit anymore.
I just don't think they give a fuck anymore.
Yeah. So
Well, and before, I think the other cabinets were probably pretty sloppy too, but they didn't have all this truth going on at every single turn, and everybody was kind of getting along. Everybody was playing nice in the sandbox, both sides. Now they're not.
And see, that's the deal with the Democrats and Republicans. I understand it's a two-headed snake, man. They know no one can
Yeah.
be fooled by that. These people all in the end work for the same people.
well, it's a snake eating its tail. It's an Ouroboros.
Well, now they really hate each other.
Well, and
I
I'm
don't
sure that
know.
happens
I don't
too.
know
I mean,
if they
that's
hate
why.
each other still.
Well-
I think that's all pretend.
No, some of them really have a serious dislike for one another. There's no doubt.
Well, the
about
ones
that.
that don't realize that it's all fake really hate each other.
Well, I mean, party-wise, I don't believe the Republicans hate the Democrats as much as they portray, and I don't believe the Democrats hate the Republicans as a whole. They work for the same people.
Right.
You know, now individual levels, yeah, there are Republican politicians that hate certain Democrat politicians and vice versa. Yeah, that goes on, but in a whole, they work for the same people and they serve the same agenda.
Yeah.
They do. And
But
that's
if they
just
piss
way
off
it
the wrong
works.
motherfucker, they wind up breathing out the back of their face.
Yeah,
So
shit happens like that, you know. But in the end of the day, they all answer to the same people.
yeah.
You know, and they all want the same thing. You know, it's like the elites. You got the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds. They both want a new world order, but they want it two separate ways. It's the same with the Republicans and the Democrats here. They want America. One group wants America to go this way. One wants it to go this way, but in the end, they want the same thing.
Take it over.
They just want to go their two different ways. And that's all it can. But that's dangerous for us because that it's getting worse. You know, this country's getting ripped apart, man.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
nobody,
but actually, the Bilderbergs are a group of all over the world. It was just the name of a hotel they started at. But yeah, the Rothschilds and all of them at the very top, which include all the people in the Bilderberg group.
well, that's
all
why we
want
just call
one
them
thing.
we call them the banksters. That's what
Oh,
they
the
are.
banksters.
Yeah. The banksters, because that's what they do. They run. They own banks that own banks that own businesses that own other
Everything.
businesses. That yeah, it's a big fucking octopus, and it all goes back to the city of London. So, anyway, and the Vatican and a couple other places too. But anyway, I digress. All right, what else you got over there, David? You got anything, Lance? You got a stack of stuff over there under your bong?
No, I'm listening.
Oh, thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, David.
You know, I want to talk. I'm going to go off the path from geopolitics here and talk about gun stuff real fast. You know, and I know you've seen the stories, Jimmy, today. And
oh yeah,
you know,
we're going to get into those.
There was this 22-year-old guy and girl that lives a few towns over from me in Minnesota. I know the relative of the girl that pulled the trigger on this. Stupid. And this guy and girl are trying to make YouTube videos, and they wanted to make it big. They had this girl has an obsession with the Kardashians and all this, so she talked her boyfriend into filming they're starting to film their lives together. Yeah. And basically he was going to do stupid stunts and she was going to do like a softer side of them.
Trying to get more views.
And she only had 123 subscribers. And, you know, their channel wasn't even a blip on the map yet, and she thought that this would just get them millions of subscribers like the Kardashians and stuff.
Welcome to a world without light.
Really, man? Shut the fuck up.
You're not brave.
Hang on a second. I put you all on mute, so just hang on a second. I'm not on mute, but I muted everybody else on the show just until this fucking ad gets... There's no way to click out of it. There's no way to click out of it. I guess if you reload the page or something. But there's no... All right, PlayStation. Stop. Okay. All right, I brought you back. Go ahead, David.
You know, so they were... This guy, he was like 24 years old.
Yeah.
Tells his girlfriend, says, I want to do this one stunt that's really dangerous. He says he talked her into firing a 50 caliber Desert Eagle through a fucking book. He wanted to prove that the book would stop the bullet. He said, "Oh, I've tried this before." He talked her into it. He said, "I tried it. I put the book over here. I stood a foot away from it, and it blocked the bullet." So what I want you to do is
a foot away.
So he talks her into the show. She went on her Facebook page and she says, you know, I don't want to do this, but he's my boyfriend. I love him. I trust him. You know, he says that this will work. So this is going to get us a lot of YouTube views. So stay tuned. And so they set up two cameras, one behind them and one in front of them, or one behind her shooting and one behind him to show the bullet, whatever, going through the book. And it got filmed. And she shot that hand cannon from 1 foot away, and that bullet just cut through that book like Swiss cheese, went straight through the dude. Dude dropped to the ground. She's yelling for the neighbors because they lived on kind of a farm area. She's yelling for the neighbors. She's freaking out. They had their 3-year-old daughter watching this. Her 3-year-old daughter was standing next to the girl that pulled the gun.
And the girl that pulled the trigger is pregnant also.
And she's pregnant also.
Oh, my God.
And so here she kills her boyfriend in cold.
I hadn't heard one word about this.
It just came out yesterday.
She's going to be convicted. She's charged with 3rd-degree manslaughter.
Oh, my goodness.
And she's probably going to be convicted of it. There's no doubt. I mean, the murder of her boyfriend's on tape. So
yeah.
What
she gave him both cameras willingly.
Yep.
You know, and she was just, you know, my wife works with her aunt, and I've met her aunt, and so her aunt got called out of work the other day when this happened. Just out of the blue, she got up running out of the room, my wife said. And you know, this is a horrible, tragic thing. This girl fucked up.
Yeah.
And you know, and the guy fucked up because he's the one that talked her into it. And so now you got this, she's only 19, he was 22. You got this 19-year-old mother of a 3-year-old that's pregnant, going to prison now, knowing she killed her boyfriend, knowing she killed her boyfriend right in front of her 3-year-old daughter, knowing she's going to have a kid in prison. And these were innocent kids, but this is how stupidity of this new generation is getting.
Yeah.
Just to all to be famous.
Yeah, they all want to be famous like the Kardashians.
No,
They
look,
watch all these reality shows and they want to be. They think their lives a reality show.
I got to tell you, man. In 20 years, nobody's going to know who Kim Kardashian is. She's a flash in the pan. You know, there's a big difference between being famous and being popular. These YouTube channels, 90% of these YouTube channels, it's just it's a popularity contest, and they're going to go away too because the people are going to get bored with your fucking content and they're going to click on something new. So,
but they thought this whole stunt would get them thousands of views.
I know.
And for her not to know, and I understand she's only 19.
It did. It probably got more than that now.
Well, no,
Well,
they
the
never
deal
made
is
it
the
live.
cops have got the videos. They're not going to release them to the public till they go through them. You know, they said they're very fucking graphic.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you feel bad for this girl, but you know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You know, they both weren't exactly kids. Like I said, she's 19, he was 22. They knew better. I guess this kid's father gave him the gun. The kid's father was a big gun collector, and they bought this kid this gun, a Desert Eagle, an Israeli-made hand cannon. It's one of the most powerfulest handguns around.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine taking a 50 cal right a foot away? This kid went fast.
My
They said this
goodness.
kid bled out like you wouldn't believe. They said they said it went in the size of like about a little bigger than a quarter, and it came out the size of a softball.
Yeah.
Blew part of his back completely out.
Jesus.
Even if it
And
had
they
been,
said they
even
don't
if
know
it
how
had been
this
a
girl
copper
could handle
jacketed
this type
round.
of gun. They said there's grown men that can barely handle the recoil of a Desert Eagle.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
she
this
dropped it
girl's
when I
only
was
like
young.
90 pounds that fired this gun. It must have blew her back like 100 fucking feet.
Unreal, man.
But a Desert Eagle, it's like one guy said, maybe a 22 if you're lucky. But a Desert Eagle, fuck, that thing will go through fucking brick.
Yeah.
And 1 foot away, I can't imagine that. And their 3-year-old daughter had to witness this.
And you know the alt left is going to jump all over this thing about fucking gun rights, and we need to take them away from people. Look at how
I
stupid
didn't
they
even
are.
think of that.
You know, and here's another one. I mean, if we're going to talk about stories like this, here's another one that I tweeted out earlier today or yesterday, I think. This is out of Hobart, Indiana. A northwestern Indiana man said he was showing a handgun to his sons and telling them to never play with it because it can kill someone, when he accidentally shot and killed his 9-year-old daughter.
Oh my god.
Eric Hummel sobbed while reporting the shooting during a 911 call on June 10th, telling the dispatch this can't be real. His daughter Olivia died about 30 minutes later at a hospital. Authorities said the 33-year-old father was showing his sons a 9mm semi-automatic handgun when he inadvertently shot Olivia as she walked into the room. Hummel told the 911 dispatch he didn't realize the gun was loaded when he pulled the trigger. You don't pull the trigger unless you're pointing the gun at a target. This is an idiot with a gun. He didn't even know the first thing about handgun safety, and he's trying to tell his kids. The dispatcher instructed Hummel to perform CPR on his daughter until emergency responders arrived. An autopsy showed the girl was shot in the forehead at close range. The newspaper obtained the 911 call through public records request. This event has impacted each and every officer and civilian staff member at the police department, Hobart Police Department spokesman Lieutenant James Gonzalez said during a press conference. Hummel faces multiple charges, including reckless homicide and child neglect. He plans to plead not guilty, according to his attorney. The idea that Hummel knowingly endangered his children is ridiculous. Bullshit. Anyone who knows him knows he loved his kids more than anything in the world and would never do anything to hurt them. Hummel's next court date is scheduled for August 24th. You can't fix stupid. If this man bought a handgun and took a class, this wouldn't have happened. This guy just bought a handgun. Watched a couple of war movies or whatever, and went out and bought himself a 9. the stories like this make me want to just walk to Hobart, Indiana, and punch this fucking guy right in his face.
Well, the same thing with that guy and girl here. You just want to shake both of them and say, what the fuck were y'all thinking?
Peter said, fucktards matter. Yeah, I guess. They got to have something to write about, right?
You know, if you're going to have a gun, you should know how to use a son of a bitch. You know that? And that's, like I said, this girl shouldn't have been handling a fucking Desert Eagle, man. They had no idea what it was going to do. You know, that guy had no idea pointing, a gun. That's ridiculous. Not even clearing the chamber and seeing if anything's in there.
No. And showing his kids. Showing his kids.
Yeah. It's just aggravates you, man. You know, if this society really does break down to the point where we're killing each other, man, it's going to be dangerous out there. There's going to be a lot of people killing themselves on accident and killing other people on accident. I wouldn't mean to shoot that person.
Jeannie said he'll serve a life sentence in his mind. He should. I do not feel one bit of empathy for that man. I feel for his sons that they watched him kill their sister, and I feel sorry for his wife because she's got to live with that dumb motherfucker. But I don't have any empathy or sympathy for that man. Not one bit.
No, not at all, man. You know, it's like I said, this 19-year-old girl here, 1 minute everything's cool, the next minute you're charged with fucking manslaughter, you're going to go to prison, you're going to lose your daughter, you're going to have a kid in prison, you got to live knowing you killed your boyfriend the rest of your life, I mean, that's to the point where I'm sure she's going to probably try to kill herself if she can.
3rd degree is a minimum of 20 years.
No, they let her go on $7,000 bond.
Well, yeah, I know, but she hasn't been convicted yet. She's been charged, but she hasn't been convicted.
Yeah, I think she'd probably go out and probably try to kill herself. That's what I'd be afraid of.
In front of her 3-year-old kid.
Oh, God,
can you imagine?
horrible. And I don't think she will because she is pregnant.
That kid was watching with her eyes wide open. Mommy and Daddy are making a YouTube video, And she watched her.
Well, the cop got interviewed here on our local news last night, and they were asking him, and he said, I've never seen nothing like it. He said that kid was just bleeding out like he's never seen someone bleed out.
Fuck yeah, man, that's a huge hole. What kind of rounds was she using?
Compression on. He said the girl was screaming and dropped the gun and started screaming.
What are you going to push on? There's a hole. What are you going to push on? How are you going to stop the bleeding when the hole's bigger than your fist?
What the cop said.
Yeah, the exit wound's bigger than your fist.
Bleed.
And what kind of rounds was she using? I mean, was it a copper jacketed round? Was it, was it a hollow point? Was it a man? What?
I don't know what type of round they were using, but they said 50 caliber handgun.
If he was still alive when the cop got there, he was damn lucky.
Well, the deal is they live out in the country
That's
too.
what
A
I
little.
was thinking too.
They lived in a real. They had to live in a rural village, so the sheriff had to drive out to that town because they didn't have a local police department.
Man, oh man.
And by the time the sheriff got there and they got an ambulance in, he was dead. He just completely bled out. And like I said, the little girl, I feel most sorry for her having to see the old 3-year-old girl be scarred the rest of her life.
Yeah. Hopefully she'll forget it. Just plain forget it.
Definitely she'll be scared of guns, man.
All right, let's get off these stories. I don't want to talk about them no more.
Oh, yeah, they're depressing, man.
Let's talk about.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I just brought it up for to show how stupid people can be.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy, earlier when you mentioned that particular word, the octopus, or the phrase the octopus, it was like a big octopus.
Yeah.
Remember? I was just that had bothered me like a couple of days ago. I was wondering about the reporter or investigative journalist that had originally thumbed that particular phrase. So I went back today and found his name. It was Danny Casolaro. He was the one that was going to write a book called The Octopus, and it was about everything that became the octopus.
Mm-hmm. It all goes back to a selected handful of people,
Yeah.
There's about 7 people on this planet that own about 80% of everything.
Right.
So,
So back in the 80s, Danny Casolaro happened across particular information, and anyway, I think he was one of the first of the long dead list, long after him, and many before him, that tried to divulge this big octopus. Danny Casolaro.
Okay. So I came across this story earlier today too. Pope Francis calls for a one-world government to save humanity. The Pope has argued that the creation of a one-world government is needed to combat major issues such as climate change. Didn't he get the memo that all that shit was fake? Pope Francis called for a one-world government and political authority this week, arguing that the creation of the one-world government is needed to combat major issues such as climate change. Speaking with Ecuador's El Universo newspaper, the Pope said that the United Nations doesn't have enough power and must be granted full governmental control for the good of humanity.
You think we can get Obama to run it, maybe?
Oh, God. Shut your pie hole, Lance. Go back to your bong. But what was raising eyebrows is the Pope's call for a new global political authority. Here's more from The Guardian. Pope Francis will this week call for changes in lifestyle and energy consumption to avert the unprecedented destruction of the ecosystem before the end of this century, according to a leaked draft of a papal encyclical, whatever the fuck they call it that for, I have no idea. In a document released by an Italian magazine on Monday, the pontiff will warn that failure to act would have grave consequences for us all. Does any of this sound familiar to any of y'all?
Like
Francis,
fear-mongering.
Yeah, no shit. Francis also called for a new global political authority tasked with tackling the reduction of pollution and the development of poor countries and regions. Isn't that what the UN's supposed to do? Isn't that what the IMF is supposed to do? Isn't that what the Clinton Foundation was supposed to do? His appeal echoed that of his predecessors, Pope Benedict the 16th, who in 2009 encyclical proposed a kind of super UN to deal with the world's economic problems and injustices. The word globalization means exactly what it says. It's the process of transitioning the world into a global government. Religious leaders are playing their part in this great deception. And it goes on, the story goes on for a little while longer. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it's from Prophecy in the News. I don't really post things from this particular site, but a friend turned me on to it, so I had to drop it out there. I don't know if Gary got it off of you, David, or if you got it off of Gary, but one of you guys put it out there first, and I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I think Gary put that up.
All right. You got another story you want to do? I got a couple more here.
Talk about that cyber attack that happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
One started out in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And, a big story from the New York Times came out tonight on it's pretty interesting. It says the cyber attack was meant to paralyze, not profit, evidence shows. And it says that basically, it shut everything down over in Ukraine, everything. I mean, it was one of the worst ones they've ever had. But then from there, it spread to all other places in Europe. I think it hit, that big freight liner, Maersk or whatever.
The Maersk? Yeah.
Yeah, it hit them. It shut down, what is that? Damn it, now I can't think of the name here. The fucking Chernobyl. It shut down the radiation monitors for Chernobyl yesterday.
Yep.
And Cadbury chocolate, didn't it?
There was more people in Europe than anywhere else.
It hit a couple places over here. It hit, I can't remember what it said, but I think it hit, was it UPS? It hit one of their main places, and it shut down part of their business worldwide.
Big Brown.
You got to ask, where are these, who's doing these attacks, man? They're getting bigger as they go along. You had the one before this, the cry one, and this one was even bigger, they said. They said, but this one wasn't really asking for money. This was just shutting shit down.
They're just,
Maybe
they got
it's
all.
just a test.
Well, no, they got access to all the NSA's tools, and they're just going through them and playing with them, see which one does what. And then when they find the one that they want to use, they'll go, let that one go.
They're going to hit some power grids real soon, man.
Yeah.
We're going to lose some power. I really do believe that. I don't think it's a fucking conspiracy anymore. I think someone's going to nail us, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I freaking hope not.
It'll be some little 13-year-old that these guys gave all the codes to, man. Or they'll blame it on a world power. They'll blame it on Russia.
Or maybe they'll take those codes and they'll attach them to a game, and then they'll give the game out to a bunch of 13-year-olds, and then they can all play viral.
What happened to the Syrian
with
Electronic Army?
Grids.
Huh? We haven't heard anything about the Syrian Electronic Army in a while. Maybe they'll jump out of the woodwork and nail us with a fucking virus or something, yeah?
Yeah, you hadn't heard from them in a while.
Right.
Well, I did see where someone, hacked, was it all of Ohio's computers for their government up there in Ohio?
Right.
Like Kasich computer and stuff, and they turn it on. It's a big ISIS propaganda banner with some shit written on it. And so I don't know, these cyber attacks seem to be getting bigger and bigger as they go along, man. And they're shutting more things down with them.
Lance, you're being requested by somebody in the room. They want to hear more from you. So I guess you're going to have to actually talk and stuff today. Lance?
Yeah, I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Lance.
I mean, you guys got fascinating stories. So, I'm chilling.
What have you been listening to, man? What have you been keeping up with? What's got you talking to people?
Nothing. I've been staying away from everything that I can. I invented a new drinking game, and I turn it when I hear the words, and they have to be together. Russian meddling. I take a sip of my beer. 28 minutes, man. I'm passed out.
You haven't been able to go to work yet either, have you? Because every time you wake up in the morning, you hear the shit, and you got to go to this, get a 6-pack out of the fridge.
I'm just, I've lost faith in humanity. The more I meet people, the more I don't like people.
Right.
Just because of the way that, that they buy into propaganda. And I've just, I watch CBS in the morning just because it's on. It follows the local news that I watch in the morning. And the pure propaganda that's on the TV every single morning that these people fall for, hook, line, and sinker, it just fucking pisses me off. I put my head in my hands every day and go, I can't. They've just said Russian meddling 33 times an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they can say is Russian meddling, Russian meddling, Russian meddling.
What was that
Not
story,
that,
man?
The Russian meddling was supposedly hacking the DNC's email. But fucking Democrats don't put that shit together. They hear Russian meddling and they think Trump and Putin in the back room shaking hands.
They had with that thing on the Project Veritas, his video said that since the inauguration and the whole Russian meddling thing started up, CNN has had over, I think it was 13,000 or 16,000 stories on it.
Yeah.
I think it was 16,000.
Yeah, in 6 months.
I saw that.
In 6 months. It's just ridiculous, man. It's
16.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It's like when anything happens big around the world, CNN almost reluctantly has to break away to it. Mm-hmm. But it's more of a couple minutes here and there, and then they're back to the Russian meddling. Couple minutes here, back to the Russian meddling. And I'm like, enough.
Because that's what Zucker
enough
said.
with
That's
the
what Zucker
fucking
wants.
Russian meddling.
Yeah.
There ain't no motherfucking Russian meddling going on. Enough.
If you want to know about Russian meddling, go ask Seth Rich about the Russian meddling.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't take it anymore, man. I cannot take it. These people are poisoning America in their minds by keeping on this Russian meddling. There's nothing fucking there, and they won't shut up, and it's really pissed me off. It's
You want to think
where
that they believe their
I
own
watch
lie.
30, 45 minutes of TV a day, and
It makes everybody hate on Russia.
That's what I get
I mean-
in 45 minutes.
Well, yeah, but you want to
Russia's
think that
not
they
a
believe.
bad country on top of it. It's
Right.
a cool country.
No.
You want to
There's
think
a
that they
lot of
believe their
good
own
people.
lies, but you know that they don't. You know that they know their lies and they continue with them anyway. That's what's really disturbing.
Well, it's because it's the elite's plans to go to war with Russia eventually, and they want to have the sheep pacified enough that when this goes down, they've got support.
Yeah,
I
That's
fully
all it
agree
is.
with
It's
that.
That's ridiculous.
it's not
the
Yep.
build patriotism.
Yeah,
It is. And if you think about it, I was in the car business during 9/11. And you know those little American flags that you put on your window, on car lots, they roll your window down a little bit, you hang it on there, you'll roll the window up,
Right.
and the flags all fly. After 9/11, you couldn't buy an American flag. You remember that?
Mhm.
You couldn't
you could-
fucking buy an American
you
flag
drive down to
anywhere.
any town in any street in any town in this country, and they were lined with flags
Lined up
for almost
everywhere.
probably 10 weeks or more.
Yep. And, lo and behold, one of the biggest government, psyops since the sinking of the Lusitania. I mean,
that was a psyop too, by the way.
truly, it was a huge psyop.
Right.
And I mean, Russia's got to be the next one that has everybody pulling their American flags out. Lee Greenwood coming down and singing again for us from Canada. And I mean, they're pushing that Russian propaganda day after day. And it's been, 6 months now? I mean, the election was last November. It's been 7 months now.
Trump's still out on his fucking congratulatory tour.
No, that's his re-election. No, that's his re-election tour.
Whatever,
He
man. Whatever.
clarified that today. That
He's-
is his re-election tour,
He's
not his congratulatory.
That's the I want the entire United States to stroke my cock tour is what it
Yep.
is.
Well, did you
So
hear
that
today?
thing where they keep pushing the thing with the Russians this and that, and everybody hate on the Russians, it's going to have the complete opposite effect. First of all, they see Putin not being a horse's ass. And then on top of it, they see
Not anybody
Russia.
Not
No.
anybody.
the
that's-
majority don't, though.
No,
Majority
90% of the people in this
I know,
country
but
believe
it
what
would
they
be
see on
nice for
TV.
it to happen that way, though.
It wouldn't, and it isn't.
What my dad used to
unfortunately,
say.
it's not. The majority of this country have their heads up their ass.
Absolutely.
Our new generation can't read past a meme now.
Right.
Well,
Absolutely.
They need to tune into this show on Wednesday night.
Well,
They have the attention span of a goldfish.
yeah.
They
But
wouldn't
here's-
be able to handle the truth.
Well, the other thing
Well,
is
here's
this
what
is
my dad
this
said
rush
when you
being
want to wish
pushed,
about something,
is
man.
that if the deep state really wants Trump out, they're going to use Russia to do it, and they're going to cause a massive civil war in this country.
I hear a lot of people saying, "Man, I wish people wake up. I wish people wake up." Wish them one hand and shit in the other, and see which one gets heavy.
That is so gross.
But,
Well, that's what my
the
dad
problem
used to
is
tell me
waking
back then.
up doesn't do a damn bit of good.
No, because we can't stop this.
We gather, we talk about it, but it doesn't do a damn bit of good. We're too far gone. You can't fix it.
No,
It's
it's
got to
not
be
even that we're
reset.
too far gone, man. This is all prophesized already. People, you need to pay attention to the big picture. This has
Our
all
health care is fixing
been
to crash. We're not
prophesized
going to have any
already.
health insurance in this country.
There's
Only
not
the
going to
rich
be
are
any
gonna be able to
country
afford
in this
it.
country, dude. I mean, you all see it's coming. You'll all see.
Yeah, it's coming. This
Oh,
is
it's
exactly it. Our infrastructures, and I'm not talking about bridges. I'm talking about our political infrastructures, our entitlement system that is a lot bigger than what it should be. I'll agree with that.
Right. And we are
It's collapsing. We
fucking
can no
broke.
longer support any of this. It's going down. 20 trillion in debt. The Republicans are dancing around saying their new health care bill from the Senate is going to save $325 billion off the deficit.
Doesn't
I'm like,
matter
that's a
anymore.
that's a
nothing.
drop in the goddamn bucket. $325 billion.
You could liquidate everything in this entire country down to your kids' roller skates. You could
And we
liquidate it
couldn't pay
all.
off that debt.
It wouldn't pay off the debt.
You know,
Well,
what
and
is it?
Catherine Austin Fitts was talking about how this country has been supporting two different governments or two different
Fuck
entities
yeah, man.
for so
The
long.
Israelis,
the
we-
deep state and this state.
Well,
Our
and plus the
country.
Israelis, we give them $10 million an hour
Why?
because they wrote a law that said that we have to take care of them. $38 billion a year. Do the math.
We give Saudi a shitload too.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. But yeah, well, whatever. That makes the people at Raytheon and Boeing a lot of money, and their stockholders are happy. So there you go. The Israelis wouldn't even have a military if it wasn't for us giving them money. They couldn't afford shit.
Oh, they
I
really
mean,
good.
if we didn't have nation building, then our economy would really be in the tank if we didn't have nation building going on.
Yep.
We need another war. I mean, it's a continual, loss. You got to keep feeding the dragon. You got to keep feeding them.
And it's been, a little over 10 years, and people aren't paying attention. 15 years, people aren't paying attention no more. They're not, when they talk about the military budget, everybody's going, well, they don't really need that much money. So now here comes the fucking huge false flag, right? I think this time it's going to be a biological weapon or an electronic weapon, and it's going to kill a bunch of fucking people in this country. If they shut down,
I'm going
shut
with
down the
EMP.
electronics, if they shut down the electronic like EBT and banking system goes on holiday for a couple of weeks or whatever, and people can't have access to their money and they can't have access to food because the trucking shuts down and shit, that's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. But if they release a biological weapon, it's going to be this exact same way. So everything's pointing toward electronic weapons. There's a tiny little spider drawing a web across right there.
I
I live in
can't
the
say
woods.
which is worse. That's like saying, would you rather die of, boiling heat stroke, or would you rather freeze to death? I think freezing to death would be better in the end.
How about?
But
everybody
either
leaves
one
out
of
that
those
third
was a
option.
bad way to go.
Everybody leaves out that third option of preparing for what's coming. I've been talking about it since I got on the radio. So's Lance.
How do you prepare for biological, Jimmy?
I got a mask.
Oh.
That's got a.
Yeah, but you can't live in your mask forever.
No, that's true, but the biologics don't float around forever either. They're going to hit the major cities. That's why I've been telling people forever. I've been screaming at the top of my fucking lungs, get out of the big cities, people. Because when this shit goes down, they're the first fucking place that you're going to die. The big cities are going to be war zones. They're going to be killing
Yeah,
fields.
can you imagine surviving it and having just freaking hideous death all around
That's
you?
why I
Just
tell people
half dead people
all the time, get your ass out of the cities. No matter what it takes, no matter what you got to do, get out of the cities. Because this is not going to creep up. If it does creep up, it's going to creep up so slow you're not going to know it's happening until it's happening. That's the
Yeah,
way
like
the
that
majority of this
boiling
crash
frog
is gone.
thing.
Yeah, that's the way the majority of this crash is gone. This whole thing really shit the bed back in 2008. People just don't realize that everything since then has been straight manipulation, to the point where the people that make their living on Wall Street are looking at Wall Street and going, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, that's even a separate entity now.
The Federal Reserve has had their own trading desk for how long, Lance? 12 years? Why does the
big
Federal
banks
Reserve
At
are
least.
separate from
Yeah.
Wall Street now?
why does the Federal Reserve have a trading desk on Wall Street? Yes.
Because they're printing
So they
money
make
in
money.
the thin air and they're buying stocks and
It was
trading
a-
stocks.
I know it was a facetious question. I didn't really. I mean, I know the answer to it already. I'm just throwing
Well,
it
it
out
just burns me.
there. Yep.
I just found out about that.
All right, we're gonna move on. You got a story you want to get out there, David? You said you wanted to talk about the economy, taking a shit, and all that. So.
Well, no, I mean, I just had some political stories there.
Oh, you want to drop one now, or you want me to keep running my gob?
No, we can just keep going. I mean, there's just another interesting story I thought came out today on Trump. I kind of laughed. Is that he had Washington Post reporter, whatever, was invited to his country club. Went in there, noticed a Time magazine cover on the wall of Trump framed up and everything with headlines.
back in the
It
day?
looked all official, and the reporter got looking at it good, and he's like, something don't look right with this. So he took a picture of it, and he went to Time Magazine. He said, was Trump ever on the cover of this like this? And they're like, absolutely not. Where'd you get that from? And they're like, I got it at Trump's golf course over here. And he's
had
got
it made
it
at a
framed up
carnival.
on his wall.
Yeah, they made it a carnival. You know, they do that little snapshot and put you on the cover of Fortune or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they do that
Field
in
and
Bush
Stream or, Playboy or.
And so Time got a hold of Trump, and Trump says, we want you to take these down. And they said, Time found out that there's 7 of them up, 5 in golf course clubhouses here in America and 2 overseas. And he's pretending that he was on Time Magazine. He's got it framed real nice and pretty with all these important other pictures on his clubhouses in 7 country clubs right now. And Time demanded Tim today, you take them down, dude. You were never on the cover of our magazine. You need to stop, talking about fake news. They said, you're fake news saying you're on Time Magazine.
Wow.
I paid $100 for those on eBay. I'm keeping them.
And so he got busted. Here's Trump going after fake news. They're like,
How the
Mr.
fuck-
Trump,
yeah.
you're pushing fake news at your golf courses by having this cover up telling everybody thinking you were on Time Magazine.
Unreal, man. This is all a
This is
game. people.
That's
This is all a-
narcissism.
This is all a game, folks. This is all a game. They're playing us all like little puppets. They're pulling strings of everybody in this country like little puppets. Start
It
paying.
is.
Yeah.
This is the fucking Matrix.
By the way, on an economic note, Sears Canada went into bankruptcy yesterday.
Yeah, we talked
I
about
read
that
about
last
that.
week that they were filing.
Yep.
Went through a big list
They
of
went-
stuff last
well,
week.
they
I'm
went
going to
through
do it
with
again
it.
this week. Oh yeah, there was no doubt about it. There was no doubt about it. It just got approved by the courts today.
So are we definitely next? Because I was pretty certain that we were, but I'm going to hate that.
What? Is our economy
with
crashing
Se-
next?
Well, of course our economy's crashing
It's
next,
already-
but the Sears, I was kind of hoping they'd hang in there. They're the ones
Oh,
that fix all my
shit.
appliances
Well, I don't know.
and do my carpets.
I don't know. So here's a story out of my home state here. This one actually made the international wires today. This came off of Yahoo Finance. I think this was dropped by Gary as well. That guy's all over the place in what he posts. Little Rock, Arkansas. I actually was going to send him a note today to come on the show, but I think he's kind of a busy man. A man yelled free. This is out of Little Rock. A man yelled freedom as he crashed his vehicle into Arkansas's new 10 Commandments monument early Wednesday, nearly 3 years after he was arrested in the destruction of Oklahoma's monument at its state capitol, authorities said. The privately funded Arkansas monument had been in place outside the state capitol in Little Rock for less than 24 hours before it was knocked from its plinth and smashed to pieces. Michael Tate Reed, 32, of Van Buren, Arkansas, was booked in the Pulaski County Jail shortly after 7:30 a.m. on preliminary charges of defacing objects of public interest. Is there really such a thing? Criminal trespass and first-degree criminal mischief. An arrest report lists his occupation as unemployed or disabled. Authorities did not know whether, I think he's probably both, a little mentally, okay. Authorities did not know whether he had an attorney who would speak on his behalf, and a video arraignment was set for Thursday morning, a Pulaski County Sheriff spokesman said. Arkansas Secretary of State's office spokesman Chris Powell said officials believe Facebook Live video posted on Michael Reed's Facebook account that depicted the destruction is authentic. So he Facebook Live this shit while he was driving over this huge monument. Arkansas Secretary of State's office, let's see. In the video, the sky is dark and the Arkansas Capitol's dome is visible. Music is heard, followed by a female voice, likely on the radio, saying, "Where do you go when you're faced with adversity and trials and challenges?" The driver then heard growling, "Oh my goodness, freedom," before accelerating into the monument. The vehicle's speedometer at last shown 21 miles an hour, and then the collision can be heard. So this doofus, and they got video on here too, and the story goes on a little bit farther. I'll drop this thing in the chat for anybody that wants to go check this out. But yeah, this doofus drove over a great big monument that actually looks like a grave marker to me. But anyway, smashed his car up and wound up getting arrested like a dumb shit he is. I just thought you people might find that rather funny. Sorry for the 10 Commandments getting smashed up and stuff, but, you know, funny's funny. Okay, go ahead, David. You got anything else over there?
You know, this just came out tonight. It says top Catholic official charged with sexual assault offenses. And it says Cardinal George Pell, one of the most senior officials in the Catholic Church, has been charged with multiple historical sexual assault offenses in his home country of Australia, they said today. And he was basically covering up for a lot of these priests that were out molesting kids.
Yeah.
And that's what he got it for, is for covering up for all these other scumbags. You know, Catholic Church, I'm sorry, is nothing but your hierarchy is nothing but a bunch of pedophiles, man.
All of them. All of them.
And Satanists too. Some of them are Satanists.
Well, that goes with it. You know, the pedophilia goes along with worshiping Satan.
Yeah.
So.
You know, so it's good one of these scumbags are going down, but still they should all go down, not just one of them.
According to the Webbot report,
totally worship money.
According to the Webbot report, some of these arrests are going to start hitting some really, really popular names. You know, some well-known individuals are going to start getting the hammer too. So that's all on the Webbot. The pedophilia thing is not going away. I said it weeks and weeks and weeks ago. It's not going to go away. It's just not. They rubbed our face in it, and now they're going to pay the price for that. There's consequences for your actions.
Andrew Breitbart was talking about that a year before he died, like in 2011, about how Podesta was getting away with pedophilia.
Yep.
I mean, everybody was talking about this. People knew about this a long time ago.
Here's a really, really sad one. And I think this is going to be the last crappy story that I do today, because I'm just too tired for this shit. Anyway, you guys got to hear this. This is heartbreaking. Over 1 year after 21-year-old Megan Rondini, I hope I got her name right. I don't want to murder her name. Megan Rondini, Rondini, Rondini. Over 1 year after 21-year-old Megan Rondini committed suicide, a new report is giving insight into the abuse she experienced at the hands of a wealthy man who allegedly raped her and the police who covered it up. When Rondini was found dead on February 26, 2016, the only note she was accompanied by was an intake form for SMU's mental health center, in which she revealed that she thought she was better off dead. More than half the time, and she listed her major life crises as raped, bullied by police, changed university, according to a report from BuzzFeed. Just 1 year before she ended her life, Rondini was attending the University of Alabama at an honors scholarship. She had a 3.8 GPA and was part of the coveted MBA program. She was working after class at a lab studying Alzheimer's disease. However, all that changed in July of 2015 when Rondini accepted a ride home from one of the wealthiest men in Tuscaloosa, T.J. Bunn Jr., or Sweet T, as is a member of the S.T. Bunn Construction Company. His father and the owner of the company, Terry Bunn, is listed as one of the most influential men in Alabama, in addition to being an influential University of Alabama donor and supporter. When Rondini reported her encounter with Sweet T to the police, she did so after escaping from his mansion, going to a hospital for a forensic exam, and then arriving at the police station in the middle of the night, according to the report from BuzzFeed. Alabama's rape law states that the victim must be an individual who engages in sexual intercourse with a member of the opposite sex by forcible compulsion, or who is incapable of consent by reason of being physically helpless or mentally incapacitated. BuzzFeed reported that because the investigator who interviewed Rondini quickly decided she hadn't fought back against Bunn, she hadn't kicked him or hit him, the investigation concluded that no rape occurred. And the investigator then began building a case against Megan, questioning her for multiple crimes she wasn't even aware she had committed. She did everything that she could to protect herself and to get help, Megan's father, Mike Rondini, told BuzzFeed. She should have gotten help, and she didn't. That's a failure on everybody's part. The report also noted that in Tuscaloosa, all sexual offense cases are handled by a multi-agency homicide department, and it's up to a grand jury to decide if the case moves forward. However, according to the captain of Tuscaloosa's homicide department, up to 50% of all reported sexual assaults are labeled special inquiry, which means that the victim does not know what or if anything happened, and the investigators don't think the accusations will result in criminal charges. Instead of taking her allegations seriously, investigators picked apart Rondini's story. She claimed that after Bunn forced her to have sex with him, he passed out, and she couldn't get out of his room. She said she tried to escape from the second-story window, but then couldn't find her keys, and went on a frantic search that included taking a gun she found in Bunn's car because she was leaving the house in the middle of the night alone. The part about Rondini taking the gun was the part investigator Adam Jones seems intent to focus on. Ultimately, with help from the Tuscaloosa police, Rondini never filed charges, and Bunn was never held accountable. Rondini left Tuscaloosa and transferred to SMU at the end of 2015 semester of the fall semester in 2015, before taking her own life in early 2016. Following the release of BuzzFeed's report, the Bunn family was quick to release a statement claiming that the report is distorted or disregarded matters of fact. There's a quote here. While the police investigation found no evidence of sexual assault, the young woman admitted to acts that subjected her to possible criminal prosecution. The statement from the Bunn family said, at one point, the young woman's family took steps to bring civil action against various parties who are targets of these unfounded accusations. Such action would undoubtedly include demands for financial compensation. The University of Alabama also released a statement insisting that the recent news accounts do not tell the full story. This is coming from the Bunns, the millionaire shitheads. Information published by news outlets this week has unfortunately ignored some of the significant facts. The statement from UA said when Megan went to the hospital, a university advocate met her at the hospital to provide support and stayed with her throughout the examination process. The Rondini's family lawyer, Leroy Maxwell Jr., told AL.com that the family is planning to file a federal Title IX complaint against the University of Alabama by the end of June. I hope they get on it. Megan was loved by everyone who came into contact with her. Her loss is everyone's loss, Maxwell said. Title IX, the University of Alabama, the Tuscaloosa Sheriff's Department, and the overall judicial system in Tuscaloosa let her down on every level. Through litigation, our firm is committed to doing everything in our power to shine a light on Tuscaloosa's systemic problem with sexual assault. That's the end of that story. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention, man. I mean, you know, I don't know why that one got to me so bad, but it's just like, it's like what the elite's doing to everybody, man. They're fucking everybody and then denying that they're giving us a big fucking.
Yeah, and think about how her parents must have felt. They couldn't do anything to help her.
Yeah, or they didn't recognize the signs or so. I mean, you know, her dad completely fessed up to it. You know, it's everybody's fault. We all dropped the ball. But still, I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. That story just got to me for whatever reason. David, you got anything else you going to do over there, man? We got like 13 minutes.
You know, go back to this. You know, China invaded India the other day. China crossed over the Indian border and smashed 2 Indian outposts. And then India built up, and they're still building up forces right now. I guess one of the top Indian commanders is going to the front lines over there tomorrow to talk to his troops.
I didn't know they invaded India.
Yeah, they crossed over the border, smashed 2 outposts, and then stepped back across the line.
What the heck were they thinking?
They've even, I guess China still got troops across the Indian border, even in that part over there, up where they intersect with each other. And
damn.
And so the Indian, like I said, general, the main guy, like their Secretary of Defense, is going to talk to the frontline troops here in a couple hours and give them a big pep talk and everything. China's building up more masses behind their fucking line over there. Pakistan is hitting India from the other side right now. So it looks like a dual thing from China and Pakistan.
Yeah.
You know, Pax hits one end and China hits the other and draws them 2 separate ways.
Well, so
You
long
know,
as they
this-
don't hit the call centers, I don't think anybody in the U.S. will care.
No, until it blows up, you know. I mean, in India, Pakistan, China, war
That was
would not
just
be good.
Trying to make it funny. Sorry.
That wouldn't be good whatsoever, man.
Nope.
You know, India and Pakistan would just nuke each other. No, that's what all their news. That's what all. What's that?
I said,
Oh my.
okay. So, well, we were talking about Pakistan and stuff, so I guess I could throw this one in there too.
Don't drop that dirk. Hey, don't drop that dirk.
Okay. I'll quit. Go ahead.
Oh, that's pretty much it with that. I just forgot to talk about that earlier. I mean, that is a big thing.
Yeah. You got anything else over there? Because I've dropped my Twitter already. We still got 10 minutes. Lance, jump in there and give us some more commentary, man. Everybody liked it the first time. They were like, go, Lance. Keep going, Lance. Keep talking.
Nah, I blew my wad.
Jeez, man. One pump chump. He's a one pump chump.
I blew my wad.
Trump's travel ban goes officially into effect at 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It actually got passed
Hey,
through the courts.
and I saw that on the travel ban. What was the Ninth Circuit Court was one of the first ones to deny that, right?
Yeah.
87% of their cases get overturned if they make it to the Supreme Court. Amazing.
No shit. 87%. Wow.
That make it to the Supreme Court.
Wow. That means they're a bunch of derps.
Quite.
Yeah, first the ninth blocked it, then the fourth blocked it, and now, you know, Supreme Court, you know, they let most of it go. They're still holding back on some of it. They're going to meet in October and go through the whole thing and either decide to implement it or not implement it for, you know, the whole package that Trump's want. This is one thing I will agree with Trump with. I'm all for this. Go ahead. You know, I'd keep these fuckers out of here, man. Look at Europe. You know, even though they're all here already and they've been here for how long?
What if the Indians
You know?
said that when we came over on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria?
You know?
What if they said, get all these white fuckers out of here, man? Just kill them.
Well, I'm not saying ban Muslims. What I'm saying is, yeah, if we need to take a good look at Europe and what Merkel did over there with welcoming. And you look at Canada. Canada now welcomed all. Now they're running out of jobs for them all.
Yeah, well.
And so now they're
Right.
all. No, and it's true. It's like, and I understand if America wasn't blowing up these people's countries and their cities and their houses, they wouldn't be here. I get that, man, and it's a horrible thing. Our government is giving it to us in both ends. It's like we're going to go over here and kill these people and blow their houses up and then force them to come over here and act like we don't want them here when we do.
Well, they have two reasons for
They-
hating us. They're brought up to hate everybody but themselves, that don't believe in the Quran and all that other stuff. And then on top of it, we've killed and ruined their countries, so of course they hate us.
You know, and so
And it was all by
like-
design. If you study your history, you'll know that it was all by design. It was spoken about over 150 years ago.
well,
What,
this,
you mean the caliphate, Jimmy?
How they were going to foment
that
the
what you
Third
mean?
World War.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
They lined it all up, man. The Second World War, the Third World War, they lined it all up way back in the day. They knew exactly what they were doing. They know
Third
exactly what they're
World War
doing.
is supposed to be Muslim versus Christian.
Exactly. And they're going to eliminate each other.
Yep, yep, that's exactly it.
Well, that means they followed the Bible like a recipe, like a plan, and actually made it happen that way. They're
Because they
actually
worship
making it
Satan.
happen that way.
Because they worship Satan. You know, this is prophecy. They're following prophecy. The same with, you know, with trying to bring back the whatever the fucking Mahdi or whatever the hell his name is. The Muslims are trying to do that, and you know,
Then you got CERN,
and Pope Frank is following right
Shiva.
along. You know,
Goddard Tunnel. All that crap is all satanic.
right.
Yeah, it's all satanic.
Like I said, this ban is only good for 120 days, though. You know, it's only temporary. And so what? They hold back for 4 months. You know, they're saying that the
No, during that 120 days, you got to know that they're going to run around and start gathering people up and throwing them on planes and shit and shipping them out. He's going to have the Border Patrol running around, or not, maybe not the Border Patrol, but, you know, the fucking feds, the marshals, U.S. Marshals, they're going to be running around grabbing up all these. Yeah. But, I mean, there's probably 100,000 gangbangers around it. So, whatever. MS-13, they've been rounding up MS-13 for the last couple of weeks.
Mhm. I'm all for that. That's one thing I'll give to Trump. Get these cocksuckers out of here.
Yeah, I mean, and the Clintons are going to let it happen because they didn't vote Democrat.
No.
Did they vote Democrat? No, send them out. We only want the migrants to vote Democrat.
No.
Oh, you know what I heard today? I
What?
went through stuff today, and did you guys ever hear about that young man that was claiming to be Bill Clinton's son? He was black. His mother was a prostitute in Arkansas.
I believe it.
Or
I believe it.
he
Go ahead.
he looked just like him. Well, anyway,
A little
I
darker.
followed that story, and he died. He's
Really?
dead now.
Well, he must have got killed in a car wreck or something. Or
I'm trying
random
to think
random
of whether I
shooting.
even got to that because I got called.
Committed suicide with a nail gun.
Yeah, 7 times.
He
Shot himself 7
actually,
times.
it was a suicide. They said it was a suicide.
Imagine that.
I know, and I don't believe it. I watched him.
Not at all, man.
He wanted
They-
to make an appearance at the, during this big thing with Hillary and Donald Trump, and they did not allow him to do that. But I believed his story. He seemed sincere to me,
Yeah, absolutely. I believe him 100%, man.
and now he's dead.
Bill Clinton was a little piece of shit of a human being. And so's his fucking wife.
Oh yes, and he sent
so's their daughter.
that boy money. I mean, he put money in at Christmas at one point, and then I think she just put her foot down and said, "No, you can't do that."
Yeah, you're not going to buy us off.
But he kind of looked a lot like Bill Clinton, and the story he came up with, there's no way that boy was lying. All those different things, there's no way he was lying. He even looked like him.
It doesn't surprise me.
It was
man.
sad too.
Their death list is long. The Clintons, the dead people that follow the Clintons is a long line of dead people.
I don't even see how they can shut their eyelids.
It's above 100, I thought.
Yeah.
I remember reading it one time.
Yeah, and getting longer and longer.
Well, that's not even including the ones they've killed from pedophilia and all that.
Right?
I mean,
Right.
God knows how many they've actually killed.
No, it's just
above
people
and
that
beyond
have
the ones
dirt.
on the dead list that we know about.
Right? It's just people that have dirt on them. All right, we're down to the last 4 minutes. Who's got something super, super duper important that they want to get out to everybody? How about some of this, man?
Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
All right. Sorry, just had to do that for a minute. Had a headache. Had to shake it out.
I'm not even watching, but I can see it.
All right, who's got something? Something. Come on, man. We got 4 minutes. Don't let me down, Dave. I know you got some breaking
Well, the
news
dog had something.
coming in over there.
I don't know. I don't know if I got anything else. Well,
I guess I can finish on with it.
I have a pen. I have an apple.
People are gonna hate me.
Apple pen. I have a pen. I have pineapple. Pineapple pen. Apple pen. Pineapple pen. Pen pineapple apple pen. Pen pineapple apple pen.
I do got something here.
Oh, thank God, man. We still got 3 minutes.
You know,
Go
the
ahead.
FBI agent today was indicted for the Lavoy Finicum shooting.
What?
He claimed that, he didn't shoot his gun when he shot 2 rounds, and the casings, he picked up the casings and took them.
Oh.
The
The whole goddamn thing was on video, man. How the fuck do you think he was going to get away with it, man? The whole
Yeah,
fucking
I mean-
thing was
Yeah,
on
the
video,
whole
and it was
thing's on
on
video.
It was on
He
infrared
lied
too.
and said that he didn't shoot and they found out he did, and so they're indicting him.
See, that's what you
You know,
get, man.
They're trying to say, and so when Lavoy got killed, the video's out. The people in the truck taping it all. You hear all the gunshots hitting that truck, and they try to make it sound like only like 6 or 7 shots were fired, and that was it.
Well, a couple of them were like, I mean, some of the things that hit the truck weren't exactly bullets. I mean, they were firing tear gas rounds, they were firing beanbag rounds, trying to break the glass out. They were, so I mean, some of that shit was shit. But Hey, man, here's the question I got from the video, and I don't know. You guys can say that this didn't happen or not, but from the video, it looked like they hit him with a taser first.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me too.
Right. So why did they shoot him afterwards? Why didn't they just tase him and take him into custody? Why did they have to shoot him?
Well, they tried to say, oh, he was reaching into his pocket for his gun, and then they said they shot him, and they could have took him down a non-lethal method, man, and they chose not to.
Yep, exactly.
Talking about the one where he was in the car in the snow and he gets out.
Yeah, dude got murdered. He was murdered.
Yeah, and from the air you can see him being shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything that's all recorded in black and white. It's recorded in color and it's recorded in infrared. They had all 3 cameras on that airplane or drone or whatever the fuck it was that was following him. So
I just never understood why they shot him at all.
Because the government wanted to send him a message. And wanted to send a message to people in this country. This is what you get if you stand up.
Yeah, and I think he had some information that they didn't want him to get out.
Yeah, do too. I think he had some.
Yeah, because the lady in the
He knew
car
about
was talking
them.
about the stuff they had.
Stealing shit from the Indian tribes and all kinds of different shit, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They shot him just to make an example out of him.
Yeah,
I think it was his son that was in the jail, right? That just got out of jail not too long ago.
Yeah. Sandy said that it looked like that, but it was probably too far. I think he was hitting the side with a bullet and he was reaching for the pain. That's a possibility too. I didn't even think about that. Somebody clipping him.
That's a good possibility.
Yep. Somebody.
Yeah, I
clipping
thought
him.
that too. Either way, they didn't have to fucking kill the dude, man.
No. They did that to.
When his son was screwed up in jail, they really did a number on him. He was scared.
Well, I mean, they all were. They were facing federal time, man.
They should have known that Mark guy was a narc and they
So
let him
was
in out of
fucking
nowhere.
Santilli.
Man.
So was Santilli, but yeah, the Mark guy that was walking around filming them all and stuff. Yeah, because he was an outsider, and they let him right in too. He must have had a really, really good story.
He was a narc.
Yeah, he had them all fooled.
Wow.
He's like he knew where to drive them and everything, where it was going to go down and everything, because he was driving the car.
Yeah, and I think he was the one that wanted him to get in 2 different cars too, right?
Yeah, he's the one that told him to get in 2 different cars.
There's too many of us. Let's take 2 vehicles. I got to film.
that
I got to
just
film all
burns
this.
me.
Yeah.
I guess someone tried to tell Bundy that guy was a narc, and no one would listen.
Right.
I think all your militias have all been infiltrated some way, man.
Absolutely. Otherwise, the feds would be taking them down. You know what I mean? They got to have an insider in all of them. Otherwise, the feds wouldn't let them stand. So, oh shit, we're a minute over. All right, everybody. I'm tired. I can't believe I stood up for the whole show.
Everybody have a good, safe week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
See y'all next week.
Be careful. Be safe. Let me get over here to the control room so I can shut everything down like I'm supposed to. Say thank you to everybody that showed up in the chat that I didn't get to say hi to at the beginning. Everybody, hi. Thanks for showing up and listening to my big fat mouth and these people on the mic on the other end of this Skype thingy. I appreciate all of you. I really do. I don't say it very often, but I do. So, with that, I'm going to thank everybody on the mic. Dave, thanks for showing up. Lance, thanks for showing up and actually speaking today. That's great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Kim, thanks for jumping in there and giving us your opinion. I appreciate you. Everybody out there, love, peace, and cookies. See you next week.